Now, what might not be fun? I was listening to Fighting Words this morning, part of the Joy Media Network, which you could find on the Joy Media YouTube. You can find on the Fighting Words YouTube channel. You can find in your favorite podcast app. I was listening to Anthony Sanfilippo and to Big Bet Bob Wankel. And they were talking about the fact that you've got Marsh in a critical spot in this lineup. You have Kepler contributing in a somewhat meaningful way down the stretch, but Marsh really has had a great 3.5 month stretch. But like, he's supposed to be a bottom third of your lineup guy, and yet he's being relied upon heavily. Now, we talked on Wednesday about the fact that Rob Thompson made very clear Trey Turner will be your leadoff hitter. We don't know where Bader's going to end up. We don't know if Bader's going to end up being like, could they drop him into the bottom third of the lineup? And since he had some really hot streaks, do you look at it and say, listen, if we put him in the bottom third of the lineup, he'll be able to get this thing turned over and then back to Turner, and maybe Schwarber's going to hit 2, Harper hits 3. Are you going to go Marsh followed by like Real Muto? What's it going to look like? We'll find out soon enough. Am I concerned? That really is the biggest question. Am I concerned about the Phillies-Dodgers series? Of course. And the Dodgers are favored, and they should be. And when you went into the season, the thing that we were all kind of bemoaning was the fact that the Dodgers appeared to be kind of circumventing the salary cap. And there is no salary cap. But they seem to be circumventing this like honor system among teams by giving heavily deferred money. And it does feel like it is a landscape-changing type of structure of a contract to hand out. And if Major League Baseball does nothing, which to this point they haven't, to change the rules, it could create a fundamental imbalance between the haves and have-nots. Now, the Phillies should be a have, and to some extent have been a have. They are not a poverty franchise like the Pirates. And at the same time, you do wonder if the Dodgers were to go back-to-back, if they were to advance past the Phillies, win the World Series with a massive payroll, but part of that payroll being heavily deferred, it will kind of call into question whether this league is still fair and balanced or not. And we can approach that at some point later on in the postseason if they were to advance past the Phillies. But the big concern right now, to me, isn't even the rotation. We heard Rob Thompson, I think, on Wednesday say that he's kind of leaning to like an Aaron Nola in Game 4, which I'm sure isn't great news to Walker Buehler, who thinks he deserves a spot. No, the real issue at hand is the bats. If the Phillies lineup is able to get anything going in a meaningful way, this series has the legitimate chance of going either the distance or potentially could the Phillies wrap this one up on the shorter side of things. I'm not positive. I'm not throwing a whole lot of money in on the Phillies getting this thing done in short order. In fact, I'm not putting any money on this series. I refuse to. It's not a win-win. Some people will bet on the Dodgers because they'll say, all right, well, if the Dodgers win, at least I profit off it. And if the Phillies win, then in my heart and my tum-tum, I feel much better about the fact that my team ultimately won. I wouldn't put down money on this series. I actually am greatly fearful of what could happen. Do I think that the Phillies rotation is going to keep them in the series? I do. I think that no matter what, you're going to have strong starts out of Phillies starters. But man, if the Dodgers jump on Christopher Sanchez and Shohei Ohtani goes out and starts spinning up scoreless innings like he did the last time these teams met, it will be a concern. Now, so much of the momentum of the series comes down to the Phillies at home, where they have been absolutely almost unbeatable the last few years in the postseason. The real question comes down to whether or not they can get anything going off Ohtani. And if not, how quickly can they get Ohtani out of the game? If he's in there for 7 strong innings, 7 scoreless innings, the Dodgers bullpen sucks. But are you feeling really confident about being able to flip whatever number you need to get up on the board across the 8th and 9th inning? I'm not sure. If the bats actually show up the way that they should and the way that they have come up short in the last few years, if the Phillies are able to right that wrong, course correct, and prove that, hey, not having that wild card series ended up being a benefit, they got even healthier, they're more well-rested, and they're ready to lock in and get going, well then cool. If the Phillies bats start off rusty, the first thing you're going to hear, the first thing that you're going to see on social media is, here it is again, higher seeded team doesn't play in the wild card round and the bats are cold. I hope that between the inter-squad scrimmage and all the work that they're doing behind the scenes to try to keep the bats locked in, keep the bats hot, I hope it pays dividends. There is nothing better than a nice, deep Phillies playoff run. Nothing. Flyers come back next week. Sixers are on the precipice of coming back, and we can all laugh about it, but they're on the precipice of coming back. The Union, if you're a big Union fan, could wrap up the Supporters Shield this weekend. We have a very nice window here, very good things happening. And oh, by the way, you wouldn't know it from Sports Talk Radio, but the Eagles are undefeated and have a very legitimate chance to go into next Thursday night's game, remaining undefeated with a chance to go 6-0 to start the season. So things are actually going pretty well in Philadelphia. The Phillies can ride a legitimate wave of momentum, but it all starts with game one. I am not going to be the hyperbolic person who says if the Phillies don't win the first two games, it's all over. The Phillies have to at least win one. And I would make the argument that like game one is probably more important as a tone setter. There will be some who would say if you're going to split, you'd rather get game two so you can ride the momentum into LA. Obviously, the goal here is win both at home, go out to LA, see where the chips fall. We will see. I'm actually interested to know where people are at right now. Before we get to hockey, do you have any thoughts on the baseball?
I think the Phillies will win in 4.
Really?
Yes. I think they'll be okay. You also, like you mentioned, like the problem with them last year was that they didn't play in the wild card round and the bats went cold. You also have to remember, like the Phillies were the only team with the first round bye last year that lost. Yeah. And it was just the Mets just had that unbelievable run. I think the Dodgers obviously have all of the talent in the world, but they were pretty mediocre the last couple of weeks of the season. They basically had a bye week these last 2 days. Cincinnati was a bad team. So
Cincy was terrible.
I think they can get to Ohtani early, and then with Sanchez, and then I'm assuming Suarez will go in game 2. They'll drop game 3, and then they'll pick it back up in game 4 and win, and then we'll see what happens between the Brewers and Cubs. But that's my prediction.
Amadeo, how are you feeling about the Phils?
I'm feeling good. I think it goes 5. I don't think it goes 4. Really? I think it comes back to Citizens Bank Park, and a lot of people are scared of the Dodgers. It's rightfully so, and also rightfully, I think some people are being a little too irrational about this series. Mm-hmm. The Phillies were very good in the second half following the All-Star break and the trade deadline. They found some spark. And I believe Fighting Words brought this up earlier. The Phillies have been one of the better teams in baseball when it comes to playing against teams that were above 500 this year. And the Dodgers, obviously, they won both series against the Dodgers in the early season and at the end of the season. And they've proven that they play better when the games get late, and all you really have to do, this Dodgers bullpen still sucks, adding Roki Sasaki to the bullpen or not, as long as you find a way to get Ohtani out of the game early, get Yamamoto out of the game early, get Snell out of the game early, you'll be good. And I think it also comes down to which manager overmanages more, Rob Thompson or Dave Roberts, and Dave Roberts has a very bad habit of overmanaging in the playoffs.
I think the Dodgers are going to win. I want to be wrong. I really do.
Don't say that.
Listen, I think that this could go 5. I think that there's a path to the Phillies winning. Nah, you know what? I could actually see a Dodgers sweep.
It's definitely the toughest team they played against in this entire postseason run.
I could see a Dodgers sweep.
Really?
No, I can't.
Well, who's
Phillies in 4? Nah, I think it'll be Phillies in 4. I am just concerned because game 1 to me, what's one thing that we know they can't complain about tomorrow? The shadows. The shadows are out.
Right. 6:30.
If I have to hear a single thing about shadows from now until the end of the postseason, I'll lose my shit. No shadows tomorrow. I don't know what the excuse is going to be. Shohei, if they can even get 2 runs up on Shohei, I'll feel pretty good about their chances. Even if even if Christopher Sanchez gives up 3-4 runs, but you got 2 on Shohei, I still like their chance of being able to come back. But if Ohtani's getting through these innings quickly, efficiently, and he goes 7 deep, then I worry. I think game 1 is probably the most critical game of the series because it sets the tone for the rest of the series. If you lose a close one in game 1, you blow out the Dodgers in game 2, then maybe you feel a little bit differently. But as of right now, you got to prove that you can at least get something off of Ohtani because the last time out was brutal.